Hey everybody, on August 4th of what is about to be post 2024, I turned 62. I was born in 1962, and when I was born, there was no such thing as Ebonics. You simply learned to speak what you were told was proper English. And how I spoke then is how I speak now. I've never had any change in the way that I talk. I got it from my parents, who will correct me on the way I spoke when I grew up, as did other friends of the family, as did people that I went to school with, and predominantly black. Then was basically ratified when I would get on a United Airlines plane as a small boy and talk to the stewardesses or the other passengers. In other words, as I understood it, everybody who was American talked like me. And I talked like everyone else who was American. It was expected. Then, I'll never forget it, I started working for Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris as his economic advisor. And Elihu called me very early one morning, Monday morning, at 5:30 in the morning and asked me to be in the office. Early, like 7:30. And I thought something was wrong. I thought, oh, did I do something wrong? And, because I was new to the office, I was just learning my way around and was known for being a controversial columnist at the time. This is 1993. And, 1993, I was a columnist, but 1996 when I started working for him, late 95, early 96. Anyway, this was actually, I believe it was February 10th of 96. At any rate, I sat down in front of him at his desk, and he all but threw this document at me, a thin document, not to hit me with it, but out of disgust for the document itself. And my first thought was, this isn't something I wrote. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. He said, have a look at it. What Elihu presented me with was the introductory document to something called Ebonics. Tony Cook was the creator, arguably, of the idea that there was the Ebonics. And Tony Cook was one of my coworkers. He was Elihu Harris' education advisor. Elihu did not agree with the idea of Ebonics, and neither did I. We grew up with the idea that the way we talked was just like anybody else. And not only that, we were supposed to learn English, and if I was supposed to learn English, then you were supposed to learn English too. And the kind of English that we learn, I've now discovered, after all these years and decades, is called a mid-Atlantic or transatlantic black accent, as characterized by this TikToker who wrote, "We're bringing the transatlantic accent back." And then she's trying the transatlantic accent in public. And then there's transatlantic accent tutorial. And I think maybe I can play about maybe 3 seconds of this without, getting into a copyright claim trouble with her, which I don't want to do. But let me click on this, okay, and listen. If I can get a word out of her. And I click on and it doesn't respond. And so I click on again. But nonetheless, it says we're bringing the transatlantic accent back.
Bring the transatlantic accent back.
Yeah, that's it.
I like it. I'll help it.
See? That's it. You heard that. We're bringing the transatlantic accent back. Easy for me to say, difficult for her to say because she's imitating it. She's younger. That's wild. Then I further learned that the transatlantic accent or mid-Atlantic accent that I heard such actors as John McGeever use. John McGeever was the great actor in The Manchurian Candidate, among others, or William F. Buckley. They say that accent is fake. Fake? Fake. Fake. It's an accent that you use to indicate that you're educated, to indicate that you're one of an upper crust. I had no idea. So it really calls into question why we started using it to begin with. And I believe simply that, well, I learned something a long time ago. English is the language of commerce. If you want to get a good job, if you want to be regarded positively in society, you use English the correct way. That's that. It wasn't for debate or discussion. Then something funny happened around the time of the rise of rap. And what happened was that we began to start a process of being a lot more lax in our dialect across the board. It didn't matter who you look like. And along that process, because of music, there are people who are not black who are adopting what others saw as a black way of speaking because of the type of music that became popular. And that began to, I assert, change how America viewed black culture and how that point of view, a racist one, infected how we view our own culture. So that we were ready to adopt a way of talking that eschewed intellect, that eschewed order, that by itself said, hey, look, we're not really part of America at all, but we were denied access and started to talk like this. But the reality is that I wasn't denied education to the point where I spoke English in a way that it was not supposed to be uttered. I used English and use English today the way that, if you will, it was drawn up. Now, if you want to say that I'm using a mid-Atlantic accent, so be it. If you want to say that I sound elitist, I do not care. My job is to be an authority on what I say. That's the way I came up. That's my generation, even to this day. And I might add, regardless of color. So I say this with such forcefulness because I went to Google and this is what I did, folks. And it got me a little, revved up, if you will, because I don't think this is something that should happen. I went to Google here. This is what I did. Okay, I first typed, actually it's in history here. Yeah, Black Americans use proper English, looking for some type of entry like that, and I didn't find one. Your search did not match any documents. Really? Really? Okay, including this video that I just made, which has Black Americans use proper English in it, because it does. Okay, it does. If I click on videos, all right? Okay? See what I mean? What people get wrong about African American, okay? And my point is that Google shows a stereotype way of thinking about us. Now, if Google were working properly, given the fact that I just put this video up and it should be registered in the search, this should pop up here. Or, okay, Black Americans use proper English, but then it says, what is Black English? I'm not talking about Black English. I'm saying that Black Americans use proper English. We do. But Google's saying, oh, that's not the case. And it is the case. You see what I'm getting at? It is the case. Black Americans use proper English, and Google has to change its search algorithm to reflect that. There also needs to be more items of content that say Black Americans use proper English in the title, because the more that we have, the less likely we are to get this nonsense result. All right, subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark Zenny62blog.com. And if you don't like the way you look on search, if you want to tell news the way you want it out there, you hire Zenny62 Media, incorporated at Zenny62media.com. Thank you.